It's about time we talk about this. SP Grenier. And I know I'm like a few weeks late on this, but I've been quite busy with some other stuff, so let's just go see what he's all about. His talent, Fortitude of the Brave. Before being forced into battle, 100% chance to gain Tenacity, which increases his attack and defense by 10%, and physical damage taken decreases by 5% for 2 turns. It cannot be dispelled, and it can stack up to 3 times, and if he has 3 or more buffs, his attacks are not affected by melee damage penalty. So if you have his Thxs skill, right, you can always almost guaranteed getting this, because I think this one gives at least 3 buffs. And I'm gonna go over the skills that you unlock when you obtain his SP class. So let's talk about his passive skill, which is a 1 cost skill. After taking action, and if there's an ally within 1 block of Grenier, he gains preemptive counterattack. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much this skill right here. If you're attacked, there's a 10% chance you'll be able to attack first. And the probability of this will increase by 1% for every 10 point of skill that Grenier has. And then another thing is that he increases his counterattack range depending on the number of allies within 1 block of him. So that means he can have a total of 6 to 8 range. 6 range normally, but 7 range if you have Grenier with Allura's bow, or if you have the catapult, which you unlock by completing his SP. And he could have a total of 8 range if you have the Allura's bow and the siege ballista. Let's take a look at his 2 cost skill. This thing can reach up to 3 range and has a span of 3 blocks, dealing 0.3 times AoE damage. It dispels 1 debuff and it applies in sight to the enemy, which does, when fighting against Grenier, the damage dealt is decreased by 50% and damage taken is increased by 30%, which lasts 2 turns. Honestly, it's nothing. I don't think it's that crazy. For someone like Grenier, who is mostly built for like a tank, you probably would want to run something like a faction buff with them. Honestly, you can either bring ballista support, or you can maybe even bring something like block to reduce your damage even more. And of course, you're always going to bring his Thxs skill. In case you guys want to know, this is the stones that I have for him. So Grenier is mostly a defensive type of character, so you want something like HP, defense, and magic defense on everything. And on the weapon, I just pretty much just gave him a skill instead of magic defense, cause it only gives like 5 points. Obviously, you're gonna want something like bolt rangers, since they're one of the more, since they are like one of the best soldiers for Grenier. If you don't have that upgraded well, you can always use phalanx, but the downside about that is that phalanx can only move up to 3 instead of 5 like the bolt ranger does, so you're not gonna be traveling as far with Grenier. And for the equipment, I have the Bloody Melody on Grenier just because it gives 5% more defense for him. And then we got the Last Rites, and of course his exclusive. And man, they did Grenier so dirty with this exclusive, because it gives 5% magic defense. But seeing how Grenier relies so much on defense, his defense is what makes up for his attack. It's pretty low of slong to do that to Grenier. And then of course we got Overlord's badge, and you can always have something else as well. You can have like Divine Boots, if you can even put that on Grenier, just because it gives more defense for him. And you can also run King's Amulet as well, and heck, maybe even Swords with Metal for the all stats up as well. And for the chance, you can do like Steel for a more tankier Grenier. Maybe even a Tree of Life, since it does give him more defense. And weirdly enough, I've seen people do like a 2-2 Meteor and Blazing Sun, but all that does just gives Grenier more crit damage. I'm not exactly sure why people done that. I'm pretty sure it's because of his skill, so that Grenier relies more on his preemptive counterattack. I would say Steel is probably your better choice. Alright, so now that I explained everything that you need to know about Grenier, I know a perfect place just to test him out. Aniki Jones. Now, I did want to test this out on Aniki Rocky, but considering SP Grenier's long-range mechanic, I decided to test this out on Aniki Jones because I thought it might be way better. And this is the team set I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using these 3 right here, Rosalia, Millennia, and Sophia, to maximize Grenier's defense. And we're going to be using Elwyn here for faction buff, so let's just get started here. Oh yeah, and I did want to mention that I did give Grenier the Allura's bow. Just to test out his long range, because this Jones right here can attack within like 9 blocks right here. Okay, so let's see. Look at all those buffs. Holy. Dang. Okay, so let's turn on battle animation and let's see what it looks like. No surprise here, but I want to see what if you can handle the Skeleton Knight. There we go. He did way more damage than the assassins, but then again, those assassins were in the defensive tiles. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, so yeah, with this Thxs, you're always gonna get 4 buffs, which is needed so that he doesn't have melee damage penalty with his talent. Alright guys, so this took me way longer than I thought because I could not figure out how this long range attack works. It only works after he takes action, like after when he ends his turn near his teammates, will he be able to get this passive skill to work. It will only work after Grenier is surrounded, after he's using his turn. I kind of wish it was like just in general, instead of him having to be pretty much the last one to use his turn. But nonetheless, let's just use this 3C here because I can finally show it off. So let's do this. Apply Insight, which gives 30 or 15% less damage to the enemy, and Grenier does more damage by 30%. So let's turn this on real quick. There it goes. His passive skill works. But you can see there, he attacks right there. So let's check that again, but with the battle animation on. Look at that! Look at all those buffs. That is nuts. Yeah, it almost kills. So yeah, I kind of don't like how his passive skill was actually done like that. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. Alright, so I'm gonna test him out one more time, but on the training ground stage. I feel like I already tested him out enough, but I just want to see what his attacking potential is like here. So honestly, I said I was gonna test him out. I should have used his attacking potential. I should have used the other archers, the cavalry archers. But let's see what his attacking potential is like here. Okay, so it is pretty solid. When he's taking stuff and counter attacking, that's where he's better at, considering how much damage he did right there. And honestly, Grenier still has like a pretty decent amount of attack, despite him relying so much more on his defense to make up for his attack. So you can see he lost his power stab, but look, he still has 1300, which is not bad for Grenier. So let's see what he's capable of. 1500, yeah, so he's still doing a solid amount of damage. Look at that, he still one-shots. We got a crit with it, but look, he still did pretty good. So yeah, even if he loses power stab, he's still pretty reliant, considering his talent that gives it tenacity, which boosts his attack as well. And so what I think about Grenier, I would give him like maybe a 7 out of 10, or actually, I changed my mind, an 8 out of 10, because his SP class makes him much more tankier. Because instead of getting a tenacity right after being attacked, he can get it right before being attacked. And as you guys saw during the showcase, that Grenier was actually putting up quite a bit amount of damage. And honestly, his 1C skill, I actually like his 1-cost skill right here. The only thing I didn't really like about it was that Grenier has to be like the last one to use his turn if he wants to take a full advantage of his skill right here, as long as he is within 1 block of his teammates. And I feel like the only thing that's holding Grenier back, if he was in some other factions like the Meteor, maybe even like Origin, I think he would see some uses. And if you guys want to get Grenier, SP Grenier, you can, but he's not a must-have. And pretty soon, in like 2 months, we're gonna have SP Ledin, and I feel like SP Ledin is gonna be way much better than Grenier, with the exception that Grenier can actually attack from far away. And so yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and let me know what you guys' thoughts about SP Grenier in the comments down below. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. Your fellow Z.